successful serial entrepreneur who has founded, co-founded, or financed the early stage growth of 40 companies in the life and physical sciences. He was the inspiration and executive director of the inaugural San Diego Science Festival, which at the time was the world's largest science festival of its kind. We are very pleased that you brought it to our nation's capital. Mr. Bach now volunteers his full-time work on the festival, and we are very lucky that he does. Larry, thank you for putting this festival together, and we wish you a successful event. Larry.
For those who know me, I have no vision at all, so no physical vision. So here is my assistive technology, my wife, in the newest model. Okay. First of all, thank you, Undersecretary Novelli, and thank you thank you, Secretary of State. Excuse me. Okay. So,
I'm the original model.
Okay.
She's not the original model.
Does anybody have the remote control? Wow, I am so humbled and so honored to be here at this event tonight. I can't thank the State Department enough. I could not even imagine that we would be here doing this event tonight a year ago. I was told what is said at the State Department stays in the State Department. So just before I go on, I just want to make sure that's the case. The State Department is the #1 science agency in the government. They have done so much for the festival, and we're so honored and pleased to have them as part of it. I mean, it actually started with a volunteer coming up to us. Well, Bruce and Lisa Matthews, won't embarrass them. Bruce works for the State Department, and they came up and they said, hey, can we try to get the State Department involved? And I said, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, do whatever you can. And look, we're here today. So I really, hold my hats off to volunteers. They do amazing, amazing things. I was just blown away a couple of weeks ago when I went to the State Department website, and front and center on the homepage of the website is a little thing about the USA Science and Engineering Festival. After taking about 60 screenshots of it and backing it up, in typical entrepreneurial fashion, I then sent it to the NSF, the CIA, the EPA, the USDA, and I said, you got to do this as well. And they all rose to the occasion. So thank you for helping us get that done. But it's not just on their website. You're going to see some phenomenal exhibits by the State Department at our event. The Secretary did an incredible PSA to help us get the word out. There are going to be some press briefings on Friday. So it goes on and on and on and on. I can't be more grateful to the State Department for everything that they've done. Now, just a little bit about the festival. If you haven't heard about it, it is the Super Bowl of STEM. Right now at the Convention Center, we are hosting over 20 major STEM professional conferences in addition to our own event. So there is an incredible conglomeration of people there. It kicked off today with an event we call XSTEM, for Extreme STEM Symposium, where we had about 4,500 kids listening to about 50 TED-style lectures. Tomorrow we have something called Sneak Peek Friday, supported by the Department of Defense. XSTEM was supported by MedImmune and the Northrop Grumman Foundation. Tomorrow we kick off Sneak Peek Friday. Last year our Sneak Peek Friday, 14,000 kids signed up for it, and about 28,000 came. We have about 30,000 signed up for it. Who knows how many will be there tomorrow, so we expect a blowout. And then our finale event is our Grand Finale Expo on Saturday and Sunday. So I know you all have cell phones. If I can ask you to do one thing, go tweet Town SciFest. I'm going to be there this weekend. You are the people that get the word out. So please help me one last time. This wouldn't be possible, and I'm going to introduce Ray a little bit more later, without the help of Lockheed Martin, who's really, this was their vision. They came to us and said, hey, let's create a national science festival. So I don't want to forget recognizing Lockheed Martin, but I'm going to introduce one of my newest buddies in a few minutes. But before I do that, I want to introduce another key partner to the festival, the U.S. News STEM Solutions Conference, which is going on right now at the Convention Center. Together, we brought the largest STEM professional conference with the largest conference for kids, all in one building. And I'd like to introduce Brian Kelly, who is the editor and chief content officer of the U.S. News and World Report.
Larry. Thanks, Larry. Larry, his partner Mark Schulman, and Ray are three of the most terrific people that I've encountered in the years that we've been promoting the STEM issue on a number of levels. I'm a little caught short on my remarks. I was going to use that thing about the Da Vinci notebooks that Secretary Kerry stole it from me. I read them last night. But our role in this, I actually was on the floor 2 years ago and talked to Ray at this amazing spectacle. And if you haven't seen it, you really have to go there. I mean, what can you say in America that is more important? It's bigger than the auto show. So this really, and it was. People pouring in to the convention center to see, parents and students to see science and math experiments. And I said to Ray, can we make 2 + 2 5? And Ray looked at me, as you would imagine, as an engineer, said, what the hell are you talking about? I said, we have this little conference that is actually the STEM Solutions Conference. It's what we look at as the leadership conference of the STEM community. And I said it would be a terrific bookend if we could put it at the top end of your conference and have a little bit of an overlap. And as Larry said, Super Bowl week in STEM. So, think of them as the big game, and we're like the NFL owners, squabbling over salary caps. But it's ongoing now. We have some terrific people over there from across the country who are in the trenches on STEM, educators, employers, people dealing with regional workforce issues, in many cases where the work really gets done. And the piece of it that I think is still to come, and maybe some of you can join us for tomorrow, the event itself opens up in the morning, and we have some great folks that will be bringing in. But we have the Hall of Fame, which is the capstone of our conference. It's a Hall of Fame lunch tomorrow at noon. And we have done this now for several years, and we're bringing in some of the really terrific people who have been inspirational in the STEM movement over the past few years. Number one of which is someone near and dear to Ray's heart and the folks at Lockheed, Norm Augustine, who, if you know, former chairman of Lockheed, really, in my view, very much the godfather of the modern STEM movement. Norm has been a tremendous resource for us and an inspiration in what we do, and we're very pleased to have him on stage tomorrow, along with Shirley Ann Jackson from Rensselaer Polytech, a very inspirational scientist, Anush Ansari, first woman in space, runs a private space program, and Bill Swanson, who's the CEO of Raytheon, who has been really instrumental in some of the important math science programs. So we're trying to take both ends of STEM, the leadership end, the inspiration end, but it's pretty hard to compete with Larry, Ray, and Mark when it comes to inspiration. When you see what goes on there, it really is terrific. So thanks very much for allowing us to be a part of it, and thank you.
So it's now my honor to actually introduce you to Ray. I want to tell you just a little story. I put on this event in San Diego called the San Diego Science Festival, and it went really, really well. And then I got a call from Ray Johnson, the CTO of Lockheed Martin, and he said, hey, that was a lot of fun, but can we make it a national festival and do it in Washington, D.C.? And I said, oh, come on, Ray, Washington is not a science city. Why would we want to do it there? It was the stupidest thing I ever said. He kept pushing me to do it, and without further ado, I want to introduce you to my co-founder of the Science Festival, Ray Johnson.
Larry, thank you so much. And I just want to say, welcome to the Super Bowl of STEM. We are very excited. I had some time over in the auditorium today and got to see the setup, and it is twice as big and twice as exciting as last year, and I can't wait till tomorrow to see the 30,000 plus kids who are going to come and get hands-on demonstrations. So I also want to thank the State Department for the wonderful reception, and I want to thank all of you for all of your participation and support. Why are we here? We're here. We heard the Secretary talk about the important problems that we face. We don't know what those problems are. We can talk about resources and healthcare and all the things that we know and we think are going to be a part of the future. We don't know what kind of problems we're going to face as a world. We know we have globalization, we have population growth, we have all these things, but what about pandemics? What about genomics? What about the unknown unknowns? I don't know what they are, but I do know that STEM is going to be a part of the solution. And we need to have a competitive U.S. presence in solving those problems. And sadly, as Larry and I talked about when we first came up with the idea of having this festival, in Washington especially, sadly, there are not enough people going into STEM fields in the United States. And that's arguable, and I've read all the data, and I hear the other side of it. It's not true. There are not enough people going into STEM, and those people who do go into science, technology, engineering, and math oftentimes do not work in that field. In fact, the #1 STEM high school in the nation, TJ, #1 in the nation. If you go over there and talk about where those graduates go, sadly, many of them do not work in STEM fields. They work in other fields, and that's great. It's good for the nation, but it's not good for the core STEM things that we need to be doing. So therefore, when I think about kids today entering STEM, it's a different world. It's a world that they feel very comfortable in. They feel very empowered in. They're not afraid of anything. They don't really fear the competitive nature that really is that world. And let's face it, the subjects are hard. But what can happen through hands-on experimentation is they will develop that same love for science, technology, engineering, and math that you all share and that I share and that Larry shares. And that's exactly what this festival has done. It will bring hundreds of thousands of kids and their families into thousands of opportunities to learn in a hands-on way. And forget the calculus, forget the physics, they'll get to that. But they'll get excited about it. It'll raise their awareness. And I said this 2 years ago, and I'm absolutely convinced. There will be kids in the audience tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, who in 30 years look back and say, that event changed our life. No question. So I am very proud to be able to have the honor and the privilege of using the bully pulpit of the Chief Technology Officer position in Lockheed Martin to be able to say the things that I'm saying and people actually listen. So it's wonderful to be here. I could not have a better friend or a better partner than Larry Bach and his wife. I mean, the support, the dedication, and the partnership that we share is second to none in my life. So Larry, thank you very much.
Well, it's not only Lockheed and Larry Bach that put this on. There are 150 other major corporate sponsors, and 3 of them are making this evening possible. And I want to recognize them. They're going to come up and speak in a little while. But Chevron, Johnson & Johnson, and Texas Instruments are both supporters of both our event as well as the U.S. News STEM Solutions Conference. And I've gone and checked out their exhibits both at the U.S. News STEM Solutions Conference and the ones at our event, and they just blow your mind away. So you're going to hear a little bit more from them after a little bit more refreshments, but I really want to thank them. If they're here, if they could, Chevron, anybody here from Chevron? TI, okay. Chevron, and J&J? No. They're back there, I know they're there. So thank you again for making this evening possible. So have some